Welcome back. I got 2 words. Welcome black.
Welcome black and white.
I got 2 words.
Welcome black.
I messed up the second word. That's how bad this is. Lord help us. We're gonna try again. 3, 2. I can't do it. This is gonna be a long morning.
We just gotta get through the.
So we get through the introduction.
Intro.
Welcome back to Plundering Leviathan, a podcast of North Center Church, where our aim is to reclaim culture's gold for Christ's glory. I see that you dressed up for this fine occasion.
I did.
As per usual.
Per usual, in my most modest, unadorned attire.
Modest and unadorned. It is modest. It is unadorned. It is a nice hoodie.
It is.
I'll give you that.
Yep. I reserved it for the Lord's Day.
Yeah, you didn't wear a Hawaiian shirt. I didn't wear a Hawaiian shirt.
Neither of us wore Hawaiian shirts.
Not today.
No, I broke the mold the first time, and then you.
That's not true.
No, what?
No, that's not true.
As far as.
Not the time. No, according to the timeline that things are posted on YouTube, because you're the editor, you broke the mold, but that's not actually how it went. But we did an episode last week called The Manosphere. And in that episode, I wore a Hawaiian shirt because it was like really hot that day. And that episode was recorded before the 4th part of Feminism in the Church.
Says you.
No, that's the truth. That's actually what happened, because our editor lost the first recording of the 4th part of Feminism in the Church. And so we had to re-record that one, but we re-recorded the 4th part after we recorded the Manosphere episode, in which I broke the mold with the Hawaiian shirt. And then Jeremiah tried to follow in my footsteps by wearing a Hawaiian shirt the next week when we recorded the 4th part of Feminism in the Church, and then claimed that he broke the mold so that he could look like he was setting the standard, and then I was trying to imitate him, but actually it was the reverse. But he was playing this 3D, 4D chess thing, whatever it was. And anyway, that's why that happened. And so now we've got this clothes war happening. And today I decided to come before the presence of the Lord on Sunday worship with reverence.
Right. Right.
To show due respect, as if you were going to come and meet a king, for instance, which we're going to, the King of Kings. Anyway, that's what we're going to actually talk about today, is Christian apparel. Christian apparel. How ought a Christian dress in the gathering on Sunday, but also daily throughout life. And so I think this is an area in our culture which has really changed. In every culture, clothing trends change.
Yep.
Throughout all of history. And in America currently, I would say personally that we've gotten pretty sloppy in our dress. Very irreverent, very immodest.
Yeah.
What you would call modesty, and modestly adorned with your hoodie, some people would call
casual.
Yeah, overly maybe sloppy even. Right, I've heard that term.
Yeah.
And I'm not saying that's a nice hoodie.
Right?
It looks good.
Are you accusing me of being sloppy?
I'm saying some people would say these things. Some people would say that this is ostentatious.
Some would.
That this is like doing too much, trying to put on airs or something like that.
Yeah.
But it's a culture. Clothing is a cultural thing. It trends. There are waves of we're going to dress to the nines, and there's maybe.
Do you know what that means?
I have no idea.
All right, I don't either.
But I know that it means to look pretty sharp.
You pull out all the stops.
Yeah.
Which I'm not sure what that means.
I don't know the etymology of the phrase to the nines, but.
What about pull out all the stops?
Pull out all the stops? I don't know. These are good things.
Yeah.
Figure out.
All right.
We use all kinds of idioms. We don't know what they mean.
Right.
Could be dangerous. Maybe we should research some of these idioms
so you're
before we
dressed
throw them out on YouTube. YouTube.
Yeah.
We'll do a little plunder idiom someday.
There you go.
Yeah.
I like that.
That's an idiom.
You're an idiom.
I'm not. That's idiotic.
No, you're not an idiot. I would never call you that. So you're dressed to the nines, you pull out all the stops. Some people see it ostentatious.
Some people do.
Not, of course I don't.
But, if I was going to... We'll get into that.
Right.
We'll get into why I think that...
You should
I don't know that I think. I don't know what I think, actually. Like, this is an opportunity to talk about it. And I was pretty sure you were going to come in here when we picked this topic yesterday at like 3 o'clock, that you were going to come in here in a hoodie. And so I'm like, well...
It's a good guess.
Why don't we set something against that?
Right.
Rather than coming in a hoodie.
Visual juxtaposition.
Exactly. And let the audience decide. Like,
should we wear the French little strip that goes on top of our button-down shirt?
This is French?
French.
Well, we've plundered it and made it American.
We have plundered it.
We. Something tells me that you did like research into the tie. The suit tie. I don't know, whatever this is called. I dressed like this for a lot of years. I was in white collar for 10 years, the white collar of the world. And so I wore pretty much, actually this tie is a leftover from that career a long time ago. Which is cool because the tie still works, right? Even 20 years later, the tie still works. You can take those kinds of clothes. I mean, you can take suits and ties from the 20s, 1920s, and you can still wear them today. They're still going to work. Like, they're not going to look out of place. I mean, it's timeless. I mean, that kind of dress can be timeless.
I'm tieless.
You're tieless, and I'm timeless.
You're timeless.
Exactly.
Timeless Steve.
The clock's ticking. Let's get on with this. So what should a Christian think about coming to the gathering when they're getting dressed in the morning? The outward appearance reflects an inward heart position, right?
Yeah.
What we show on the outside reflects what's going on the inside, and so when we come to worship, we should have a certain demeanor.
Yeah, I think it's right.
A certain posture, and your clothing speaks.
It does.
It speaks to what you think of the importance of that event that you're going to. In this case, Sunday worship.
Uh-huh.
It also speaks to other people. Communicates not only what you're thinking of God and of the Sunday gathering, but also communicates to other people what you think of that.
Yes, it does.
And so, I think this is a good topic, and lots of folks come to the gathering on Sunday dressed just beautifully. Like, they put their best clothes on. Their Sunday best, right?
Yep.
I mean, that's a term.
It is.
That gets bandied about. So, let's plunder this thing, and let's find out, more importantly, why Jeremiah wears a hoodie to preach on Sunday.
Yeah, which is relatively new. I've done it now for about 1.5 years, maybe.
That's it?
Yeah, not long.
But it's not shocking because, quite frankly, in the American church today, I would say that dressing down on Sunday has become more regular or trendy.
It's a trend.
Than dressing up.
Yep.
Yeah. Historically, that's not been the case. Historically, in the church, in America, people dressed up more than this, right? A 3-piece suit or, really nice hat, whatever.
Yeah, we'll get into that.
Historically, in the church.
We'll get into that.
Recent history in the church.
Recent history in the Western middle-class church. Folks have dressed up in their Sunday best.
And that's because there's a Bible verse that says, when you come to church in America, dress your best, right?
Second hesitations.
There are some Bible verses that speak to apparel. Right?
Oh, you bet.
There are.
Quite a few.
Yeah. And you're going to pull those out to defend why you wear a hoodie. But let's just start with one. Psalm 89, verse 7. And this would be, I think, an argument for why to dress up when you come to the gathering. Psalm 89, verse 7 says, God is greatly to be feared in the assembly of the saints, and to be held in reverence by all those around him. And so, if he is indeed to be feared or held in reverence in the assembly of the saints.
Right.
You should come with a reverential heart disposition.
Yep.
And some people would argue that you would also come dressed to reflect that reverential type
I think
of
everybody
attitude.
should. I think everybody should say that. You should come with a heart disposition that is in awe and in holy fear and worship, reverence of Almighty God, and the way that you dress, I would say, just inevitably reflects that. I don't think it just should. I think it will. I think you started the podcast by saying the way you dress reflects the disposition of your heart.
Yes. Let's take a secular example. Even the pagans, if they went in for a job interview somewhere, you're not going to necessarily come in a hoodie.
Correct.
I mean, depending on the position, of course, or what you're doing. But let's just say that it's a job that you really want to get into. Maybe especially in the white collar world, a high paying job or a position of leadership somewhere in management. How are you going to dress when you go to meet that boss? How are you going to dress if you go meet a dignitary? So if the king of some country were to come here and we had an opportunity to meet that king,
what are you going to wear?
what are you going to wear to meet the king?
You going to throw on a hoodie?
I don't know. That's a question.
Probably not.
Maybe. But I think our instinct would be to dress up for that occasion because you're going to meet somebody pretty important.
You bet. And if you dress down, my hunch is it's probably because you have an attitude of irreverence. Like, I don't, who are you?
Who are you? Yeah.
You're not better than me.
No, I'm going to wear my jeans with holes
Yeah.
in them, and you're nobody special.
Right.
Which, I mean, in one sense, we are all just human that put on our
Absolutely. We put on the pants the same way.
one leg at a time.
Right.
We're all just humans. But there is a sign of respect that you show when you meet somebody of importance or high status. If we were to go to the White House, let's just say you and I get invited to the White House because this podcast has just gone gangbusters.
Yeah, I love it.
Right? J.D. Vance is like, we need to have these guys on.
Right.
And we need to talk about plundering the White House.
Yeah.
And J.D. Vance says...
Thank you, Mr. Vice President.
Yes.
For that invitation.
Thank you, sir.
You are so kind.
Yes. And so we say, how are we going to dress for this?
Right. You're gonna grab
the
your
White House.
Right. You're gonna grab your French strip and
Oui.
and toss that on. And what is Jeremiah gonna wear? Am I gonna throw on a hoodie?
What would you wear?
Probably not a hoodie.
Probably not a hoodie.
Yep. I'd probably wear. I got to comb through my closet, but I know I've got a sports jacket in there and some dress pants, and I would.
Yeah.
I'd probably look a little bit more dressed than you. I don't know if I'd wear the tie, but I'd have the sports jacket on.
Yeah.
Almost
Sports
certainly.
jacket.
Yep.
Yeah. So that is something we see in the world.
Yep.
Just worldly things. We're going to show reverence, respect due to somebody in a high position of honor.
Yeah.
And so if we come to the gathering on Sunday, wouldn't that same thing apply? And I'm not arguing for that. I'm just saying this is something that we need to consider. And some people take that position. And if you go back through all the podcast episodes, you're going to see that I don't think I've dressed like this one time. And we pretty much record these on Sunday. So you can tell that I'm not coming to the gathering dressed up. So I'm not saying that this is my position and this is how I feel about it. But I certainly wanted to at least...
You're trying to make a statement
today.
Yeah.
Yeah, and just see the juxtaposition so that, because there's going to be folks out there that say this is how you should dress on Sunday.
Uh-huh. And
there's going to be folks that say, you know what, hoodies are fine, flip-flops, T-shirts, and we're going to come to the gathering that way. And so the question is, are you showing reverence in the assembly of the saints? Are you fearing the Almighty God? And are you reflecting that in your attire properly?
Yeah.
So, why do you wear a hoodie?
Yeah. So let's go through just a super brief history of church clothes over the last 2,000 years. When the psalmists are talking about coming into with meeting in the assembly of the saints and reverence of God, at this time, whether we're talking about the tabernacle or a temple, at that time in history, the presence of God dwelt in the Holy of Holies.
Right. In the tabernacle and in the temple, both.
Correct.
Right. Yeah.
Yep.
Tabernacle being the pre-temple configuration of God's meeting place. Right?
Yep. It was a temporary dwelling, a tent.
Yeah. It was a tent.
Yep. In the New Testament, we read that the miracle of the incarnation is that God came and he tabernacled among us. Same word. Tabernacled among us. Jesus tells the woman in John 4, look, there's coming a day when you're not going to go to that place or this place. Worship is going to look different. You're going to worship the Father in spirit and in truth. He's seeking such to worship him. But it's not as if you're going to go somewhere where his presence dwells, as if you were going to you're going to go meet the president, because that's where the president is. You know, the radical new thing in the gospel is God comes and lives inside of you and lives within his people. And so the dwelling of God is among us all the time. And so when we gather in the assembly of the saints, something different is taking place in the New Testament church, in that we're not going to a building to meet God there. God is not dwelling within the four walls of this place. We are going to meet who? One another in the presence of God. And now we worship and we fellowship. And so you think about, we encourage and strengthen and edify and pray and weep and laugh and all of these things sit under the preaching of the Word of God. But when you consider all of the together passages in the New Testament, worship is always, at the heart, at the center. But the language is always about our mutual encouragement, edification. What's the purpose of coming here to gather on a Sunday? It's not because this is where we meet our holy God as opposed to anywhere else in the week. It's this is where we meet with the people of God to worship, fellowship, and encourage. When the author of Hebrews, in Hebrews 10 says, don't forsake the assembling of ourselves together, there's this language of stirring up one another, brotherly love and good deeds, good works. Worship is certainly a part of that, but that's not where the author of Hebrews focuses in on. All I'm saying is there was a shift in the assembly of the saints from Old Testament time, where you were coming to the place where the glory of God dwelt, and now the glory of God dwells within his people. The scene is different.
The scene is different, but you're still coming to worship God.
Absolutely.
Corporately on Sunday at the gathering. It's a day set apart to come to worship God. And so when you say you're not coming into the, how'd you put it? You're not coming into the presence of God, or you're not coming where God dwells? You're
not coming to the place where God uniquely dwells.
Yeah, I think the language used is you're not coming to come to the place to meet God, to come to the place where he resides and meet him. And I would say that I think
as if this is the only place where his glory abides.
Sure. I agree with that. Right. Yeah. But you are coming to worship this holy God differently on Sunday than you do the other 6 days of the week. So even though God is dwelling in his people and tabernacling with us, is that a verb? Can you make that?
It is. That's what
tabernacling.
Tabernacling. We changed that in John to dwell, but the actual verb is tabernacle.
Sure. Okay.
Tabernacle among us.
Tabernacled among us. It's a special day set apart from the other 6 days of the week, where you are coming purposefully to come and worship God, and in a way meet him in the assembly of the saints.
100% agree.
Right. So I mean, you're surrounded by all the other people also coming to worship God. I think the day should look different.
Yes.
All around, and you would agree with that.
I do.
I mean, to keep the Sabbath holy.
I do.
Which we would say in New Testament times is Sunday. There's things that you do differently on Sunday that you don't do the rest of the week.
Right.
Right. And so one of them is coming to the gathering.
You bet.
To worship, to just have one day set apart.
Yes.
For worship of your God.
Yeah. And so part of that should also be reflected in what you wear.
I think so.
I agree. So now,
I don't know that I've thought enough about it.
Yep.
Until yesterday at 3:00, but I'm like, you know what? I mean, it's always been there, because you come to church and you see some folks just to the church building.
Oh, good. Okay. Yeah.
And so when you arrive at the gathering,
you arrive at the gathering.
See what he did there? And some folks are dressed up very well, and I think that. No, I don't know the purpose. I guess that's really what it gets down to. What is their heart disposition when they're choosing their attire on Sunday morning?
I think that there's this whole episode ends.
Yeah.
Is there?
Yeah. So we'll get there.
Yep.
What's the purpose of it?
So let's trace the history. In the early church, which is 1st through 3rd century, they met in homes. Christianity is illegal at this point. Okay. So we're talking from the time that Matthew 16, Jesus says, I'm going to build my church all the way through 3rd century.
Mm-hmm.
Christianity is illegal
In the Roman Empire.
in the Roman Empire.
That's where it's spreading.
Yep.
Yeah.
And so they're meeting in homes, catacombs, not in basilicas, not in cathedrals.
For those that don't know what a catacomb is, what is a catacomb?
You could say like tombs.
Underground caves.
Caves.
Where bodies are kept.
Yep.
Yeah. And they're meeting in graveyards.
That's something.
Underground graveyards.
Yep.
Because they're going to be persecuted if they do it above ground.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's pretty cool.
It is. I mean, it's something else.
So they probably didn't put on their Sunday best.
They didn't have Sunday best. They wore their normal everyday clothes because that's what they had. The focus was on modesty and humility. If you were to show up to the gathering dressed in extravagance, it would have drawn unwanted attention to you. You would have stuck out like a sore thumb because nobody was dressed up.
Okay, so back up. Hold on a sec. Because James has something to say about this.
Uh-huh.
Right? So they were meeting at the time that James was written. And the book of James says don't show partiality to the one that comes in, with the fancy attire.
Yeah.
And the gold rings.
Uh-huh.
And so when James is writing that, I guess that's just a question. They weren't meeting at that point in underground assemblies, or maybe they were, but
I don't know.
There were folks coming in
This was
dressed up.
Yeah. That's also baby Christianity when James is writing. When Christianity first starts,
Sure.
it isn't nearly as persecuted as it is by the time you get to...
It wasn't a threat to the Roman Empire yet. Right?
Right. I mean, right.
Or to the emperor.
Yeah. And it never was. Right? Paul makes that clear in Romans 13. We're not a threat to you. We're going to be the best citizens in your kingdom, but perceived.
They perceived it as a threat. Yeah, the Roman Empire perceived Christianity as a threat. That's why they were being persecuted.
Right.
Because they wouldn't honor Caesar as Lord.
Right. Yeah.
Because Jesus was Lord.
Right.
And saying somebody is Lord is a political statement.
Right.
Especially in Roman times, because Caesar was Lord, and you had to pledge allegiance to Caesar.
Yeah.
As Lord. And Christians said, no, we have no Lord.
Right.
Apart from Christ. Right. So there was a threat element there perceived from the Romans.
Right. Yep.
But anyway,
so as it grows, they get more persecuted.
Yeah.
And as the persecution, ramps up, the church largely goes underground, particularly when it comes to their gatherings. And, would they have some people that would join them with ostentatious outfits? And there might be a temptation to go, well, you're an important person. I mean, we see that with the disciples and Jesus, with the rich young ruler. Mm-hmm. Jesus says, go sell all you have. And the disciples are like, what in the world are you doing? Mm-hmm. This guy would have been so advantageous to be part of our team. I think there might be the same disposition in a church setting where you have somebody that comes in and they have all the appearance of wealth and influence and prestige and whatever. And the response is to show them deference.
Yeah.
Deference.
Sure.
You take the best seat.
You take the best seat.
Right.
And that's what James was saying. Is don't show partiality to that person because they're dressed well and ostensibly have money and power. And James is like, no, that person is no different than the person that's in shabby clothes. So everybody is equal here in this gathering.
Yeah, and that's actually really key. First of all, I think the implication is most people aren't dressed the way that the guy's dressed. That's why he sticks out. But regardless of that, the theology of these early church fathers was we are all one at the foot of the cross, and we want to communicate that by the way that we dress. And so there was a flatlining of the wardrobe so that the rich didn't stand out and the poor didn't stand out. When you came to the gathering, there was all this sense of we are one here. And we're going to reflect that by the way that we dress. So here's a couple of quotes from these early church fathers. Tertullian: we are to appear not decked with gold, nor clothed with purple, since all this is not to please God, but men. To please whom is not our business. For they who please men are servants of men, not of God. So he's just arguing, if we go back to a motivation, who is it that you're dressing up for? And now I think when we get to the end of this, if we say, I'm dressing up for God, well, I think that's beautiful. I just don't think that's what most of us can say. I think most of us, as we pick out our wardrobe, we're not thinking about God. We're thinking about the people around us.
Sure. And what Tertullian is saying is don't dress to please men.
That's what he says.
Yeah.
Yep. If you please man, you are a servant of man.
Yeah.
All right. Clement of Alexandria, he's talking to the women in this writing. Let the woman wear a plain and becoming dress.
Plain and becoming.
Yeah, so the plain be
What's it supposed to be becoming?
not ostentatious.
That was such a bad laugh.
And the becoming, I think, means feminine.
Appropriate. Suitable.
Yeah, there it is.
Proper.
There it is.
Pleasing or attractive to the eye.
Yes.
Appropriate or fit.
There you go.
Congruous. Suitable.
Right,
Graceful.
thank you. Yep.
Fit, graceful.
All those things.
Befitting.
Yeah, and then he says, and let her be veiled. So we'll go back to that later. Because we're going to talk about head coverings.
This is Clement of Alexandria.
Clement of Alexandria.
Said, let her be veiled.
Yep, let her be veiled. But the first part is just a plain and appropriate dress.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
Cyprian of Carthage, let the head be veiled and the face modest. Let her not excite the desires of another's eyes with a wanton dress.
Oof. Woo.
All right.
American church hardest hit.
Yes. Are you trying to excite the desires of those around you with what you are wearing on Sunday or Monday or Wednesday? Or when you go to the beach?
Yeah, what are you wearing to the beach? Basically underwear? Yeah.
What are you wearing to the beach is an important question.
Okay. Read that one more time.
Let her not excite the desires of another's eyes with a wanton dress.
Yeah, and so I know a lot of women that would say, I am not attempting to excite another's eyes. They would argue
Right.
that they're dressing in a way that is the trend of the time, that is cute, looks good, that fits into society well. It doesn't make them stand out and look different, which we can argue about in the Christian life. We are supposed to look different. And they would say that they're not attempting to excite the eyes of another, right? That's not their desire. Their desire is to fit in. But the effect is definitely there. Can we say men and women are different and be okay with that?
We've spent 5 episodes saying men and women are different.
I don't think we ever actually said that sentence. Men and women are different. Okay? Listen, men, I don't have to tell you that. You know. But ladies out there, we're different. Many ladies and feminists would call us pigs because of the fact that our eyes are drawn to the appealing, beautiful nature of a woman. And what she wears is something that can excite us. This is why the porn problem is so ubiquitous in male circles. Women also have porn problems, right? Don't get me wrong. But it is way more destructive for men, way more easy to fall into for men because of the way that God made us. He made us different. He made us with eyes that gravitate to the form of a female.
Yep.
Something happens in us, right? It is how God made us. Argue all you want about, us being pigs because of that, but it is what it is. It is a constant battle today for all men to walk around in society and see what we see on an everyday basis.
Yep.
Our eyes are constantly getting excited. I have to look away from women dressed a certain way all day long. I have to fight it all day long, whether it be in person, more and more so, or whether it be on billboards, TV ads, social media screens.
Yeah.
It's absolutely everywhere. We are a hyper-sexualized society, and the way that our women dress has reflected that. I know there's a lot of women out there saying, well, don't be such a pig.
Right.
Why do you guys always think about one thing? You have a one-track mind.
Right.
I don't know why God made us this way, but he did. He made us with eyes that see a female form, and we get excited. And when we see our wife, that's a good thing.
That's a glorious thing.
It's a great thing.
Yeah, that excitement is what eventually results in life coming into the world.
Right. God made us like microwaves when it comes to that. It doesn't take much. You just push the one button We have one button. Push
the button.
Push reheat, and it's like that.
Yep.
We're reheated.
Yep.
And women can't really understand that because they're crock pots.
That's right.
Right? So a woman needs to warm up slowly over time when it comes to this.
Right. And what a miserable thing it is when you have children that unplug the crock pot.
Right. Yes.
It's so frustrating.
There's all kinds of ways to unplug the crock pot. Yeah. We usually unplug it ourselves. I think I do a pretty good job.
You unplug it quite a bit.
I'm pretty good at unplugging the crock pot. But women are crock pots. Men are microwaves. It takes us one push of the button. And
right. So you brought us down this to say what women wear, whether they are intending to communicate anything or not, and I'm going to argue that I don't buy that line. But whether
saying that's what a lot of them would say,
they would say, "I'm just following the cute trends of the day.
That's right.
Why don't you grow up and be a big boy and keep it in your pants?
Yes.
This is your problem." And we want to say, maybe it is our problem. Would you love us and help us with this problem?
Yeah. Women don't dress this way to draw wanton attention or to excite the eyes of another.
Yeah.
I mean, this is not new to our time right now.
No, this is
1,800 years ago, something like that.
Yeah. Yep. So that quote was Cyprian.
Oh, Cyprian.
200 to 258 AD. So
1,800 years ago.
1,800 years ago.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Nothing new under the sun, is there?
Correct. So you have the early church, first 3 centuries. You have imperial Christianity, 4th and 5th century. This is when Christianity became legal across the Roman Empire. Constantine, his Edict of Milan, when was that? 313 AD. And the church gathering became accepted, and then it became formal as part of the Roman Empire. And so it moved from homes and catacombs to basilicas now because it's legal. Not only is it legal, but it became the official religion. So clergy began to adopt the vestments of the Romans, like the chasuble, which was this like poncho that they would wear, the alb, which was like this long white robe. I mean, these were things that were worn by the Romans, Roman culture, and a lot of these were just everyday uses, like when it was just practical when you're riding horses, this like poncho thing or whatever. Well, then the church said, we're going to take those and make those our liturgical garments. And so it wasn't as if they were grabbing from some exegesis of Old Testament teachings, or they were grabbing from the clothes of the culture and saying, we're going to make those our church attire. Now,
Okay,
that was the clergy.
I can't just sit and listen. If you go back to Leviticus, the priestly attire was different.
So I'm getting there, but it's hard.
Well, hurry up and get there.
But so this is what the clergy is wearing. The congregation is still showing up in their plain, everyday clothes.
Okay.
The clergy are adopting these sort of goofy articles from the Roman world.
And you're arguing they were adopting it from the Roman world, not hearkening back to the Levitical priesthood attire.
Oh, absolutely.
Okay.
Now, I don't know what their argument would be, but what is clear in history is these are Roman clothes, and the church is now saying we're going to wear those as part of our Sunday best. So they're borrowing from the wardrobe of pop culture, whatever their intent was. I'm not inserting unbiblical motives. I'm just saying that's what it.
Okay, that's what they were doing.
Yeah. Congregation is still wearing their normal clothes. Majority of them couldn't afford special clothes that would be different for Sunday, and so what they would do as a way to set apart the Lord's Day is they would wear their cleanest and their best of their everyday clothes.
Sure.
So it was they were still setting it apart, but it was the same type of clothing that they're wearing every other day for the week. It wasn't of a different kind.
Okay.
All right. John Chrysostom.
I love that guy.
Yeah. Tell me, why do you come here in costly garments, and with bright garments, and with gold and pearls and French ties? Oh no, I added that one. To pray or to insult the poor? Do you wish to adorn yourself? Then adorn yourself not with pearls, but with modesty. That's his worldview.
Okay.
Okay. Saint Augustine. We have a dog named Saint Augustine. We call him Gus.
Is his first name Saint?
Or Gusser. Yeah,
He's
Saint.
just
That's Saint Augustine.
He really is?
Yeah. Saint Augustine.
You sainted a dog.
Right, we call him Gus.
That's great.
He who is good is free, even if he is a slave.
Huh.
He who is evil is a slave, even if he is a king. Therefore, adorn yourself within, not outwardly. Let your soul be adorned, not your body.
Yeah. And that gets to the heart disposition.
It does.
Which we're going to finish this
Right.
with.
Yep.
At the end. Yeah.
So, imperial Christianity, the dress starts to change for the clergy, the pastors, elders, church leaders, not for the congregation. What they're doing is what the church has always done. They're wearing the clothes that they have. They don't have the luxury of having a wardrobe for different occasions, but they're going to wear the cleanest and best of what they have.
Which reminded me of Exodus 19. So Moses calls for all the elders of the people. He had received the commandments from God, and he was going to present them to the people. So it's just before Exodus 20, where the Ten Commandments are laid out to the people. And so Moses calls all the elders to give them these commands, which the Lord had given them. And then he says, all the people answered together and said, all the Lord has spoken, we will do. So Moses brought back the words of the people of the Lord, and the Lord said to Moses, so God said to Moses, behold, I come to you in a thick cloud, that the people may hear when I speak with you and believe you forever. And then he tells Moses this, go to the people and consecrate them today and tomorrow, and let them wash their clothes.
Yeah. Yeah.
Right? Come with clean clothes before the Lord to receive these commandments on Mount Sinai.
That's beautiful. Yeah. That's about as early as you get, because this is days after God has saved his people for the first time corporately.
Yeah.
They've sung together for the first time. They're about to receive the law. This is early days, and he has a word to say about what they're going to wear when they enter into his presence.
Yeah, just wear clean clothes. Wash your clothes. Which also speaks something to their being washed of sin.
Yeah.
Being consecrated as a people.
Absolutely.
Right. I mean, it's not just a physical, hey, just come in your best clothes, but also
it's a heart, a picture of your heart on display.
That's right. Yeah. When we talk about Jesus coming and washing our garments white as snow.
That's right.
Right.
Yeah.
You know, there's a lot of symbolism behind clothing and being cleaned.
Right.
Anyway.
Yeah. Robes of righteousness.
Lots of talk about
good.
clothes. Yeah.
Church moves to the medieval church, which we're just going to give a big blanket. It's going to be like 6th century through the 15th century. So medieval times.
The Dark Ages.
The Dark Ages.
They weren't so dark.
And church became really like high culture church.
Yeah.
They had this idea that God is, so that, to your reverence point, God is transcendent, he is holy, he is above us, and they wanted to map that theology out into every part of their church gatherings. And so you had the cathedrals now that have spires, and there's a purpose for that. They're just trying to, so your eyes are drawn up, like look at how high God is. And the music became high church music to a point where the congregation, the average folks, couldn't even sing it anymore because it was so intricate, it was so fast, it was so high. So I did my THM on congregational singing, one of my masters on congregational singing, and this is just a fascinating part of church history when it comes to congregational singing. But all of that also mapped out onto what people wore.
Sure.
So the church leaders now are starting to wear vestments that also communicate their class, their rank in the church, their ecclesiastical position. So like, how do you serve in your church? But everyone else was still wearing their normal everyday clothes because they didn't have the means of an extended wardrobe. So they're still coming with a goal to be modest, appropriate, reverent, clean, the best that you have. But it was of the same kind. What you're wearing on Friday or Thursday is going to look almost identical to what you're wearing on Sunday, minus the leaders. So you have guys like Martin Luther, We should adorn ourselves with the wedding garment, which is faith and a good conscience, and not with outward fine clothes.
Mm-hmm.
So that's his disposition. Mm-hmm. John Calvin, let us remember that all things ought to be so regulated that decorum, moderation, and frugality may be observed.
Frugality being frugal, not ostentatious, not displaying riches. Right. A frugal person would be somebody that pinches pennies.
Right.
Another idiom.
Lots
of idioms.
Pinches pennies.
Yeah, who is very careful about how he spends his or her money.
Yep.
Yeah.
So the history moves then to the Reformation, Protestantism, 16th and 17th century. The Reformers rejected the excessive ornamentation of high church as a distraction from the gospel. They just rejected all of it. I don't like the fact that you've taken away the music from the people. I don't like the fact that you've isolated yourself from the way that you dress. I don't like the fact that you've isolated the people from the Lord's table. Just pushed against all of that, including clothes. Puritans insisted that believers should dress plainly for worship, viewing fancy clothing as prideful. Mm-hmm. And so that everybody would still wear their best for Sunday. It was still plain, though, compared to high church, finery. Mm-hmm. William Perkins, God will have us moderate in apparel, both for the fashion, that it be comely and decent, and for the price, that it be answerable to our calling and ability. Richard Baxter, do not be proud of your apparel. Come not to show your fine clothes, but to worship God. Which goes back to the motivation again. Mm-hmm. Don't come to show your fine clothes. So whatever you're going to wear, what's your motivation? Are you coming with a motivation to worship God in the clothes that you are wearing? Mm-hmm. Are your clothes worshipful? Mm-hmm. All right. Industrial Revolution. This is where church clothes starts to finally, as we think of church clothes.
Yeah.
I mean, I remember as a little kid going, I had these shoes where you could put your offering in like a little pouch.
Really?
Yeah, there's a little spot where you could put your offering. I don't. Maybe I just made that up.
Maybe.
But it fit my quarter just perfectly.
Yeah.
So I'd stick my quarter in my nice Sunday shoes I would never wear anywhere else ever. Like they were Sunday shoes, And I never. What I wore on Sunday was of an totally different kind of clothing than what I would wear the rest of the week, and that's true for everybody in my culture.
Yeah. Your dad preached in a suit?
No, my dad wasn't. So we grew up in farm churches.
Okay.
And so my dad would wear his best pair of black jeans.
Okay.
Button-up shirt, usually short sleeve, and then he had a bolo tie.
Bolo tie?
A bolo tie. So like a cowboy tie. So sort of like a.
I've seen those.
Like this, that would wrap around, and then there'd be something, a little doohickey that you would just slide up.
I remember those.
Yeah.
Oh, interesting.
But Industrial Revolution was the growth of the middle class. And so now it was possible for the poorer folks to actually buy clothes that made them look like they had more money. And Sunday was the occasion to show off. And so this is when church clothes, as we think of it today, began to take root. That's when it became common to dress up formally for the Sunday gathering, but part of this formality, at least in large swaths, was a way to highlight your financial means. I can afford a bigger wardrobe.
I mean, you get into the heart disposition.
So it's still just a heart. I'm just arguing heart disposition. During this time that the stereotypical church clothes began to emerge, like ties, so that popularized by French fashion over the 18th century.
Oui.
Suits, polished shoes, etc. So in short, our modern idea of Sunday clothes grew right alongside Western middle class fashion.
Okay. Well, and if you look at pictures of people in the 20s, 30s walking around the street, there's so many cool YouTube videos out there of folks in the 20s and 30s walking around the street, and the men had their fancy cane or umbrella and their top hats,
right.
and they were all
trench
in
coat.
suits and trench coats, but everybody walking around on the streets was dressed in suit coats.
That became
all the women in dresses.
that was the cultural norm.
It was.
Yeah, and so it just made its way like it always has. The cultural norm made its way into the local church, and I'm not arguing that that's a bad thing. I'm just saying that's the way it is. The church, the way we dress in the gathering, links up with our culture.
Yeah.
John Wesley, wear no gold or costly apparel. Let your dress be cheap, plain, and decent. He's father of kind of the Methodist movement. Charles Spurgeon, it's not the fine clothes, but the humble heart which God accepts. Let your Sunday clothes be clean and neat, but let your heart be cleansed from sin and clothed in humility. This brings us then to the modern era. Today, the church culture has shifted toward more casual dress, and so you might have a pastor that's wearing a hoodie, and if his hoodie is motivated by the cultural movement around him, the heart disposition is off. But that's the cultural shift. We've shifted towards casual dress, jeans, t-shirts, whatever. And that began really in the 1960s and 70s with the Jesus movement. These hippies are coming in, and the church started to see a cultural shift. And so, so we're about,
70s.
Yeah. So I was going to say 50 years or so into that movement. But the more liturgical traditions like the Anglican, Orthodox, Catholic, historically black churches are still prioritizing formal attire as a sign of respect and reverence. So, close up, you got guys like Billy Graham. It's not what you wear to the church gathering that matters, but the condition of your heart. Let your outward appearance show respect for the one that you worship. So it's just, what's your heart disposition here? John Piper would say things like, clothing is not irrelevant, it communicates something. Right, and you mentioned that earlier.
Yeah.
What you wear communicates something.
That's right.
Tim Keller, we should welcome people whatever they wear, so this goes to James, but Christians should ask, how am I communicating with my clothes? Or what am I communicating with my clothes? Am I communicating humility and hospitality, or self-centeredness is his language. So here's my in short. Our modern idea of church clothes grew alongside Western middle-class fashion, but for much of church history, the focus was on simple, modest clothes that didn't draw attention to yourself. So now there's two motivations. I think this is the crux of the matter. Why do you wear what you wear? As you're combing through your closet, which I do on Saturday night as part of Sabbath, I'm not going to spend time on Sunday morning trying to figure out what I'm going to wear. I'm going to do that before my Sabbath starts on Saturday. So Saturday evening to Sunday evening. So I pick out my church clothes Saturday evening.
You're doing that thing with your fingers when you say church
I do that, yeah.
clothes.
If you're not watching this, church clothes, as to say, in air quotes.
Yes.
All right. There's a motivation for dressing up, and I think the best motivation is this. You're showing respect and reverence for God. I want to give God my best, and I want that to be communicated in what I wear.
Sure.
This is my best. I'm not coming for you, dressing up for you. I'm dressing up for God. If that is indeed your motivation, I think that's beautiful.
Yeah.
I want to celebrate the Lord's Day as special. I want everybody to know this is not a normal day. This is not a normal God.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And so I want to set this apart as special and communicate that in what I wear.
Yeah.
As a communal witness, that you show that worship is not casual. It's a weighty thing. This way, we're not just hanging out with the guys at the bar on Friday night. I mean, this is something utterly other. This is holy. And then there's other reasons we do it, but I think those three are beautiful reasons for dressing up.
That's good.
Would you add any or argue?
No, I think those are really good reasons.
Yeah.
And I think you need to think about, again, you're communicating things about what you think about God. You're also communicating to other people how you view the gathering on Sunday. And so, one thing that we need to really talk about, and maybe we'll get there in a minute, is how we're dressing distracts, perhaps.
Yeah.
Right? So we want
undistracted
excellence in our worship is Piper's.
That's another Piperian.
Yeah, John Piper would say undistracted excellence on Sundays at the gathering. not only speaking to the preaching and the music and the prayer time. Everything should be worshipful and undistracting.
Yeah.
Right? He told a story recently. I don't know where I heard it. I saw it recently, but it's something Piper said a long time ago about a worship gathering that he was in, and the music was just wonderful. So they're worshiping with music, and he's being drawn up into God out of himself, and he's just really meeting God in this time of worship. And there was a piano player that was just doing a phenomenal job on the piano, like just a virtuoso on the piano. And it was adding to this worshipful experience. It was excellent. It was, but the distracted part came in at the end of the song when the person leading in the vocals said that something to the effect of, the piano player, is proof that we're not all made equal. And so it distracted the attention away from God
to the piano player.
Yeah. And I think the same thing happens with clothing. You can distract those around you with the way that you're dressed.
Oh yeah.
I mean, if you're dressed so other,
right,
than everybody else, you have that potential to distract others.
You bet.
Right? Ladies, if you come in yoga shorts, you are going to distract the men's attention.
True story.
If you come in with a low-cut top with cleavage, you're going to distract.
True story.
Right? Men, if you come in with a large 10-gallon hat, which I don't know any men that do that, but you're going to distract.
Or sagging down to your knees.
Or pants sagging. Yeah. Yeah. You're going to distract. And so, that's...
So when they talked about like appropriate wear, it was all of this. It was, we don't want to come dressed so that we are other. We don't want to come dressed having given no thought to the cleanness of our clothes. And so, and it's a motivation thing. And so maybe you just didn't have the opportunity to clean those clothes this week. But the idea is you've come in with the best that you have, as clean as you are capable of cleaning your clothes. So I'm not going to dress overly ostentatious. I'm not going to dress as if the gathering meant nothing to me.
Flippantly.
Irreverently. Yeah. I'm not going to dress provocatively. That's just so important. We're not going to get into half of what I wanted to get into, so we're going to do like a part 2. Here's my argument for the hoodie, all right? And I'm not arguing that anybody else should wear it. Here's why I wear it, all right? I love the historical precedent for simple, plain, modest, doesn't draw attention to yourself. I love that element of it. Simple, plain. All my hoodies are plain. I don't do anything with like text or logos. It's just plain, unadorned, doesn't draw attention. I see it as a visible demonstration of the call for the church to be clothed with humility. That's just the language. Be clothed with humility. And I feel like the plainer the clothing, the more that it draws attention to that. Particularly as one who is shepherding the heart of the church. I love the idea of loving the demographic of the community in which we serve. And so we serve in a very poor community. And so my desire is for when the guys on the street that I'm ministering to, or the guys in the secular jobs come in, that they don't feel like that they don't have a place here, that we are something other than them.
It's the come as you are, right?
Yeah.
You want them to come.
Well, yeah. I mean, not leave as they are. So I'm not trying to. But what I want to do is say, when you come, the gospel that you're hearing is not something for those who are like put together. Something for those who live in a different sphere than you.
I'm thinking of the guy that came in one Sunday in his jogging suit. Remember that?
Yeah, I do.
And so he didn't really want to come in necessarily because of how he was dressed. He was concerned about walking through the doors in his jogging suit. In fact, his wife, he told us later, was very surprised that he went to church in a jogging suit. He went to go get breakfast.
Right.
And he was driving by, and he just happened to see I had thought about this church several times driving by it, and thought, you know what, I'm going to go check it out. And with his breakfast in the car still, because he picked it up.
Yeah.
And he was just going to poke his head in and just see what he saw.
Right.
And when he walked in his jogging suit, he felt very comfortable.
Yeah.
Because he saw you up there in a hoodie preaching, and he saw everybody else, some well adorned with their Sunday best on, some just in regular clothes, just casual, very casual clothes. And so it gave him permission to come and worship with us, even in his jogging suit, right, in his sweats. I thought that was really cool. So there is something to say for being modestly.
No. And I like that. And the pushback I would give is I actually do see this as my Sunday best. This isn't my wedding day attire. This isn't my I'm going to meet the president attire. This is what I want to call my Sunday best, in that I'm communicating something different than I want to communicate when I meet with the president. I'm not worshiping the president, or I go to a wedding, I'm not worshiping the bride or the groom. What I want to do is communicate that this is not about me, which is, I think, what the early church mindset, simple, modest. But I reserve these hoodies for Sunday. They are my favorite, best, simple dress hoodie. Yeah. I reserve the pants that I'm wearing right now for Sunday. In fact, these exact same jeans I wear almost every single Sunday, and then we wash them, fold them, put them away, and they're ready for next Sunday.
Can't confirm.
Yeah, can't confirm. So the idea of clean, the idea of special, but in no way are they going to ever attract attention toward Jeremiah. At least that's my hope. And I know the community in which I serve. This tracks with the people that I'm wanting to see come to the Lord, come to a gathering of saints. And it just fits really well with the earliest days of the church. Now again, it's not apples to apples or one-to-one, because they didn't have the opportunities that we have today. And they lived in a different culture that we lived in today. And so they had different cultural sensibilities and styles and trends and all that. So I get that, but that's why I wear what I wear. And I could be convinced otherwise, but that's...
Yeah, I don't know. Yeah. I don't know that I have an opinion, but I know a lot of people have asked. And so I think this is a great opportunity for you to say why you wear a hoodie to preach on Sunday.
Speaking,
and I think it's a good answer.
Next time, we're going to talk about head coverings.
Nice. He's putting his hood over. If you're listening, he's putting his hood over his hair right now and covering his head, which is 1 Corinthians 11 tells us that women are to be veiled when they pray and when they worship. And so we'll talk about that next time for sure.
And if you're coming to the gathering next Sunday, pay careful attention to my wife's head.
I can't wait to find out what that's going to look like. Might look different. Maybe it won't. Maybe it will. We'll find out. This is exciting.
Yeah.
You have to show up next time. Travel. If you live somewhere else and you're watching and listening to these episodes, maybe come to North Center next Sunday. Yeah. So this week we covered apparel, specifically the history in the church gathering, and a little bit of talking about how people dress in culture and how Christians should dress in culture. Next week, Lord willing, we'll talk about other things like head coverings, like you just pointed to. But also, I think we really do need to touch how we should be dressing every day too.
I think that's really good. Yeah.
I think it's really important to talk about modesty and how we can dress modestly every day, because our culture has lost it on that.
Yeah, and talk about the Bible speaks of beautiful dresses, of braided hair, of jewelry in a positive light.
It does.
We got to plunder it, and even plundering it, I think there's a way actually to not just say this is okay or not okay. I think there's a way to actually plunder clothing, to say we're going to actually use clothing. We did that a little bit today. What does your clothing communicate? But there's a way to what you wear on Monday or Wednesday or to the beach or whatever. There's a way to actually plunder clothing to the glory of God. And that's not to say get rid of all your fancy dresses or your name brand jeans or your jewelry, because the Bible has a category for God blessing his people in a way that impacts what they wear on occasion.
I love it.
All right.
Yeah, I can't wait to go there. So I see another multi-part episode on clothing. How do we do this?
How do we do this?
Man. Yeah, that's okay. All right. So however you dress, whether it be to the nines on Sunday, whether it be your Sunday best, which is not meeting up with the best in the church, whatever it be, do it from the heart. Do it modestly from the heart with reverence to God, not being distractible to others around you. And always remember that Leviathan is bound. Go take his stuff. Until next time. Yep, that's going in the outtakes.
For sure.
How do you do voice warm-ups? We're gonna try again. 3, 2. Stop making me laugh. What do we call this? What is this podcast called? Ready? Okay, we'll do this. 2.
We got it.
1. You done?
Yep.
Are you done?
I'm ready.
Stop putting your finger. No, stop it.
3, 2, 1.
Hey, Steve, look! Moon's over Miami.
Oh, yeah. I forgot about that.
Crying out loud.
I can see you already feeling a little bit disappointed in your wardrobe.
Not at all. No, I don't think so. No.
Because you have your French tie.
Oui, monsieur.
Oui.
Do you speak French?
For sure I do not. The coffee, monsieur.
Grazie. Combining French and Italian.